Hello, good evening. So today, this video is about the concept of intellectual humility. And why am I discussing for this concept is because, uh, I basically teach critical thinking to my student teachers. And we discuss a lot of, reasoning. We discuss a lot of, standards that can be used to assess reasoning. But then while you are doing this processes, while you are using this processes to you know come out uh, and reach to an objective conclusion or an inference, at times it is important to understand that there are certain traits that are important for us to you know have it within us, so that when we do reasoning, we do not become biased when we do reasoning for you know uh, say for analyzing a text, or for analyzing a decision, or for reaching a conclusion. Naturally we'll use certain processes, right? So while using the processes, there is a chance that we might become biased, or we might become, you know, uh, we might have certain beliefs that we might, have to explore while we do this reasoning processes. So, in order for us to, have an objective view of, what we are trying to do in terms of reasoning, these traits of mind are important to be considered. And the first trait that we will look ahead, for some time today, is the trait of intellectual humility. Uh, Now, when I'm talking about intellectual humility, I'm basically trying to say that while I use the processes of, thinking, I do it in such a way that will help me to uncover the kind of ignorances that I might have within me, so that if I'm able to know the kind of ignorances that I have towards certain things, then I might become a fuller individual, right? Which means that in 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 a very easy language, if I want to say that, then intellectual humility looks into, right, trying to know what you do not know, right? Which means the extent of ignorance that I might have towards, certain concepts that I might use in the class, right? So I might think that I know a lot of things when I teach in the class, but I might have certain things that I may not know for that concept. What I do not know for that concept needs to be explored, right? And needs to be known. When you attempt to know what you do not know, that basically points to the trait of intellectual humility, which means striving to understand the ignorance that you might have towards certain concepts, towards certain decisions that you took, towards certain problems, towards certain facts, right? Then, when you understand that I do not know certain aspects of this particular aspect, you may attempt on researching or exploring or understanding what you do not know, that you are ignorant about, by way of which becoming a fuller individual, which is important in today's life. Because you cannot assume that I know everything. And if you start assuming that I know everything, that's where there is a chance of you, somewhere getting stuck or landing up into problems because you did not explore it earlier, because you just thought that you know about it. But then eventually you came to know, I do not know about this. But then by that time it was too late. Say, as a teacher, if I go to the class, right? And when I work, behind my class to teach that concept. So if I'm able to, understand that these aspects of that concept is what I do not know of, I research, I try and understand, I talk with people around me to understand that. So when I go to the class to teach that concept, I am naturally much fuller, much complete as a teacher. Am I right? And that's where, somewhere, see, when the student starts asking questions to us, where do we, where do we get stuck? What is that point where the teacher, is not able to answer certain questions in the class, is because probably at the back, we were not able to identify that these are the points that I'm ignorant about for this concept, which I could have explored earlier and I would have known on that. Yeah, I agree. We will never be able to understand, or we will never be able to be, know everything about the concept that you want to attempt upon. But at least, I can become better if I have intellectual humility with me, right? So that is a trait which you carry with yourself, even when you start conversations with, you know, individuals. So that's where, I think that when you agree that you are ignorant about certain, things in, into a conversation topic that you are into, that's where people start realizing that, you are genuinely involved into things. If you keep on saying that I know of this, I know of this, I know on this, and I have already attempted on this, so that's where you will not be able to get complete a command of things that you could have got, right? Now, probably in later videos we might talk more about what intellectual humility is all about, but I think how I would just point out two things that one can consider to develop intellectual humility, right? The first point, in order for you to develop intellectual humility, is the first point is you need to accept the fact that I am ignorant about certain things. So once you accept that I am not a complete human, I need certain things with me to improve, that acceptance will help you to start, going towards the second step. And I think the second step to develop intellectual humility is to start reflecting and writing explicitly in a notebook or a diary that you carry, and start writing. Writing on what? Writing on example. See, because I'm a teacher, I always take examples of a teacher. Start with the concept that you want to teach in the class, right? Write down what aspects of the concepts that you know, because every concept will have certain sub concepts that you will need to understand. Only then you will be able to explain the main concept. So you need to start mentioning the sub concepts that a concept may have. While you start writing on those sub concepts, you'll be able to understand, oh, this is where I need to know more, this is where I need to research more, this is where I need to explore more. You could also do this, that you write your main concept that you want to teach. You make 2 columns and write what I know of these concept, what I do not know of this concept. And at first it might seem very difficult because, my students keep on asking me, Madam, how do I know what I do not know? So I always say that once you start thinking about what I do not know of this concept, that's where your reflective mind will tell you certain things that you need to, you know, pay heed to. And once you start writing, and this is what I'm not clear of, this is what I need to research on, this is the concept that I need more understanding on. So you will have 2 columns, what I know, what I do not know. And when you are able to write both of this, you will come to know that these are the points that I need further understanding on. And at the end, you will feel much confident about. So when you go to the class, you will naturally have more things to carry with you for that concept in the class, making you more confident, making you more better as a teacher. Because as a teacher, I need to make sure that I teach the right things to my students. Am I right? I have that responsibility with me. So when you are able to do that, naturally you'll come to know that, I am much equipped as a teacher then, right? So I will come again with um, more layers of this concept probably in the coming videos. So this was about intellectual humility, which says striving to understand what you do not understand of certain aspect. Thank you.